You're welcome back to Morning Express. Let's set the ball rolling for the second leg of conversation here on the program. We'll be x-raying the economy that a lot of experts have said is in jeopardy. Now, this is as regards to industrialization in the agricultural and manufacturing sectors. Joining us this morning is a geospatial analyst, Mr. Muyideen Yusuf. Thank you so much for joining us
Good
here on the
morning,
program.
and thank you for having me. And good morning, viewers. And it's nice. It's a nice day to be here.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk about the industrialization in the country, which, much like my intro has stated,
Yeah,
analysts, much like yourself,
yeah,
have called it a jeopardized one. The agricultural sector, they say, is in shambles. The manufacturing sector, they say, is nothing to write home about. And just before you joined us here in the studio, our guest, Peter Desmond Olariwajifobi, was stating something about the manufacturing of drugs in the country and how the exit of certain big pharma companies has affected the high prices of medication in Nigeria. What would you say about this in an all-encompassing note?
yeah. That is we are still we. If you look back down memory lane, Nigeria had it birth from these colonial masters, the Britain,
Yeah.
and we have always, from that inception, we have been a raw material producing nations in inceptions. When the British came here, they really came here from raw materials. And going forward, the first and the second industrialization, not only Nigeria, the entire Africa were not able to be carried along in the scheme of things. First, the education and the technical know-how to be in the forefront of industrialization.
Yeah.
With the African settings lag behind. And the leadership that should have come from our colonialists, or they did not come forth. They just believe in taking the raw material out. So going back in history, you find out that we start on a very poor footing, industrially wise. But our leaders in Nigeria, they have tried in so many fronts to bring in so many, the founding fathers. If you look at the Ajakuta Steel Company,
Still
is
company,
the third largest of its kind in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And under the watchful eye of Obasanjo as a military man,
Yeah.
we set up some refineries, which will make us a petroleum, producing large quantum of petroleum.
Yeah.
You can see we have the Warri refinery, the Kaduna refinery. This is our leader that set it. They really have intention. Somewhere around Kaduna, because of after the British left, we have the cotton ginnery and the likes.
The cotton ginnery
in Kaduna,
in Kaduna and also in
Gombe. In Gombe, all over the so the founding father really laid a foundation, and somewhere down the line, coup counter coup, change in policy and government, then the new colonization that came in some country. Look at Ajakuta, for instance. That is the hands of international community if you dig down deep, because it would have been the third largest. That complex could revolutionize steel production for Africa. And if we do that, we are shutting out some world powers from the market, from the African market.
Yeah.
So you can see that we have a lot. Then you talk about pharmaceutical. You see, the moment the knowledge base that drive your production, you do not have the indigenous knowledge that could drive your production, you have problem. We have our own local medicine, the herbal medicine that some of our people believe in.
Yeah.
And in the pharmaceutical industry, Nigeria has made giant stride. So many multinational companies have set up factories in Nigeria. Then we have our local base that has this Indian Dana. They are doing well in Nigeria, and if you go to Kwara State, there are so many pharmacy company in Kwara. We have the Tuyul of this world. They are in Kwara State. If you go around Lagos, there are so many pharmaceutical-based company. But one thing about industrialization and the pharmacy industry is that the cost of producing a drug, the manpower, look at, you need a microbiologist, you need a pharmacist, look at these professionals to pay them, then the equipment you need to bring in to produce the paracetamol. If you just paracetamol, chloroquine and the likes, if you know the amount of money that goes in. So drug might have, even as it is, drug might have be cheap if we dig down into the cost of production vis-a-vis the cost in the market. But one thing I will say is that we have lagged behind, but in recent time, there's a giant drive to shift from consumption in Nigeria to production.
Now let's
when you say about agriculture,
yeah, I was going to go to that.
The president and his team, they are working day and night to make sure that we have a mechanized agriculture. You know, the president presently is in Brazil to champion some. You know, Brazil, one of the developed world that have a powerful agricultural sector.
Yeah.
So Nigeria is trying to collaborate.
We're going to come to that in
Yes,
a
sir.
moment, where we hear that Nigeria and Brazil are about to seal deals in aviation, in livestock, and other sectors. In a moment, we'll get to that topic, and I want you to elaborately talk about that. But let's get back to our economy and our manufacturing, industry. Let's talk about agriculture. We've always had a problem of consumption rather than production in Nigeria.
Yeah.
We eat what we produce. A video was viral some couple of months ago, I think, or about a year ago, where the president was talking about how Nigerians eat cow skin rather than, channeling all of it into leather production. I know we produce leather in places like Kano and the rest.
Yes.
However, in other parts of the country, like the southwestern part of the country, pomo is a delicacy. So every time a cow is slaughtered, rather than looking at a product that could be exported in terms of leather, we think of a spicy stew that is bubbling with pomo. So how do we change this? How do we balance the equation, in as much as we are enjoying our delicacies with things like cowhide, cow skin,
and
we are also not neglecting the possibility of generating a lot of money via exportation of these leather products?
You see, we have to try to balance the two.
Yeah.
One thing that will happen is that, this Boko Haram of a thing has caught, and the cattle rustling of a thing
Exactly.
has caught the natural ecosystem. Yeah, the natural ecosystem at which the production of cow has been affected significantly. But one thing is that you can't stop the Yoruba man from taking his pomo, because that is his own delicacy. I happen to be one. Pomo is very delicious. But one thing that is very, very important is that when there is need, all you need to do is the need assessment and boost production. Now coming up with the livestock ministry and trying to seal a deal, when we have ranches all over the country that produce more cow, so there will be plentiful pomo and it will not affect the leather sector. So these two can go hand in hand. All you need is, because the man that eat the pomo will still pay for it. So what I just want us to do is just to know the needs assessment, then you increase the production. So having said that, the agricultural sector, this government is trying to make sure that when it's fully mechanized, there is an effort going on in Niger State, in Nasarawa State, in Benue State, and most part of the North Central and some part of the Northwest, to make sure that agriculture become the mainstay of Nigerian economy. You can see during the Buhari era, there is the rice, there is the emergency and the rice proliferation of rice production. And KB State has taken the lead on that, and up till now, they are still at the forefront of rice production. So if we go to apart from rice, if we take other produce, like the sugar cane, and the Niger State are doing shea butter and the likes.
When it comes to sugar cane, Mr. Muyideen, the Dangote sugar producing company in Numan, Yola, that's talking about Adamawa State, which used to be the Savannah sugar company, has a vast expanse of land that has lots of sugarcane. However, we know that sugarcane production is not something the layman can easily engage in. However, sugarcane farming is something that can be done easily and has been done for years, donkey years here in the country. Is there a way to remove the monopoly of these big production companies where they don't have to farm the sugarcane, process the sugarcane, produce the sugarcane, and export the sugarcane? How do we also give a level playing ground for farmers who are able to plant the sugarcane and perhaps supply en masse to these big companies? Because it appears they have been relegated and pushed to the background.
That's you know when that's why when Dangote ventured into the oil sector, he met a stiff resistance from the players in that sector, and up to now, he's still meeting the resistance. He's still fighting back. Recently, he purchased about 4,000 trucks to deliver fuel free to the filling station. If you are going to buy, you don't need to cater for the logistics. So what I'm trying,
CNG power trucks.
Yeah, so that the filling station will get it without even paying the cost of transport. You just want to deliver to their
doorstep.
To their doorstep. So this is to show that how organized the petroleum sector is as compared to the level at which we are practicing farming in Nigeria is subsistence.
Yes.
And the subsistence farmer cannot take on big multinational company like Dangote. But what I would just say is that...
but how about a number of subsistence
let me just give you that Shanti Sugar in Niger State and Kwara State. This Shanti Sugar too, I think sometime I had Dangote has taken it over for production. So what I'm just trying to say is that government should make a policy to make sure that at least the raw materials for the production of sugar should be left out of the company. Then farmer can go into the cultivation of sugar. Then so that, because what they do with sugar is that they extract the water and they could get the concentrate. Just like when you have petroleum, you extract the concentrate is what the company needs. There is even Bua's sugar. There are so many companies that are doing sugar in Nigeria. Do you know that just like we are having problem in the oil sector, that some people are still bringing in refined product. Some company go to Brazil, another country like Cuba, to bring in concentrates that we should have produced. So if government, like what this federal government is doing, is that they are making it a policy that anything that we can produce in this country, you shouldn't get it from outside. And those companies should give incentives to farmers so that they can produce this thing locally, so that we take care of the employment of our people, and those local farmers will be boosted so that they can produce more, so that they take care of our farmer, and everybody will be engaged in the cycle. So the way Dangote is going about the sugar business is the monopoly, which need to be checked going forward, so that everybody can be included in the value chain of sugar production. Indeed, monopoly has killed the sugar farming. The only type of farmer you see is also sugar cane that we take on the street.
The ones that is being sold
on the street,
carts.
No, that policy should be revisited so that we won't have only one set of people or one set of company. In fact, the way it is now, we don't have more than 2 or 3
companies
producing for about 250 million
nationwide.
People. Which supposed to be, I think each geopolitical zone should have at least 3 sugar company that is domiciled in their domain, because we have the population that consumes.
What could be the reason for this laxity and this space in terms of individuals, investors going into mass production and manufacturing of items, commodities like sugar?
When Dangote started and other companies that are springing up today, so when we are growing up, we have St. Louis of this world and other sugar. Then we have other sugar company. This sugar company has been there, but that come a time that government needs to house off business, because government doesn't have business in doing business as some people make us believe, the capitalist. So now the capitalist world want to take over everything. And in the capitalist business environment, is a winner takes all. But the government policy must make it imminent that you should, like when Dangote is having problem with crude, he has to talk to the government to make sure that Naira swap, so that
there will be like a meeting point,
so that they should not sell, because there is OPEC rules for the sales of crude, that it should be sold in so amount of dollar. And the Dangote find out that if they are buying in dollars, they would not be able to subsidize the price for the Nigerian.
So that was where the whole Naira for crude arrangement.
Yes. So that if you buy in Naira, you can sell in Naira, and the government and Dangote came to the table. So they should make it a policy that locally made by local farmers. Even if you have your own farm, you must still buy from. Then this is where they give loan out to farmer during the rice production era, when we want to shoot our rice production. The sugarcane sector should also be visited, and a cluster of farmers should be organized and then be given incentives. And this, there's the buyout, the company should be able to be the off-taker of such production. It will be a policy of government, so that even as it is now, most of the produce we are producing in Nigeria, the government sometimes bought it from the farmer, so that there will not be wastage, and the farmer should have something, so that there will be
now, Mr. Muyideen, there is a very huge concern that a lot of our experts in the economic and financial sectors have raised as regards to what is hindering the massive industrialization drive that we are supposed to have as a country, and that's the devaluation of Naira. It continues to sink on a daily basis. It's a fact. Everybody knows it. In as much as we try to be very optimistic about the things we say and project about Nigeria, there are certain facts that we cannot just take away from the reality of what is on ground. Is the issue of the Naira really affecting our manufacturing industry in the country? And if yes, how do we address this?
You know, when we're growing up, and our elementary economics taught us how the paper money and this current type of money we are using evolved. And you know, we do trade by barter. Now, if you are not producing, there is no way you will be at the trading table, because you don't have anything to trade on. And the moment you don't have anything to trade on, no matter how much money you have, the money can be devalued, because you don't have anything to sell. So what's the way to address the issue of currency devaluation and our currency losing its value day in, day out, is to go into massive production. And when we produce massively, then we have excess to sell in the international market. You know that we'll earn more dollar. And the more you earn, the more your currency stabilize. There was an era that Nigeria sell cotton, cocoa, granite. That era was an era where we witnessed Naira at par with dollars.
But why the constant need to export raw materials? What happened to the processing and production of finished products within the country? We can't produce chocolate from cocoa. We have cocoa in abundance. Palm oil is now a commodity that Nigerians import. A couple of decades ago, the idea that Nigerians would import palm oil was something that nobody would have. Nobody would have believed that Nigerians will be able to import, palm oil that ordinarily we have here. And so is the likes of cotton, the importation of rice, when we have rice in abundance in Abakaliki, in Ebonyi State,
all over Nigeria.
Lots of
Benue, Niger, Kebbi State, everywhere.
So what is this endemic of massive importation of finished products, whereas we continue to export these raw materials without necessarily finding an opportunity of processing, manufacturing, and exporting from here?
When I was coming for this program, I was pondering on something, on a philosophy. Nigerians seem to have a philosophy of, if it is possible, it will be done. If it's not possible, it shall be done.
Well, you have to break that down. It's a bit complicated.
It will take volume, but I just want to bring it for this program, then we'll now lay a caveat on it. You see, if it is possible, it will be done. In Nigeria, if it is impossible, it shall be done. And if it is not possible at all, Nigeria will do it. That's the way we are.
That's the winning spirit of a Nigeria.
And let me now put it in this context. You see, if you do not provide incentives for local production, we have 250 million people to feed. That's a huge market. People will find other ways of doing it. Let me tell you, sometimes most of these companies that are abroad, it is known that some of these are owned by Nigeria, because the incentive is not here. If you go to Benin Republic, many Nigerians have set up shipping company in Benin Republic, because we have the money here. They take it to Benin, set up a shipping line, and instead of baiting the ship at the Nigerian port, because of
in
Benin Republic, because of stringent policies of the Nigerian port, and the delay and the cumbersome paperwork and bureaucracy at the port. Now, Nigeria will find another way to make sure that they do their business. They can go to Benin Republic, Togo, and
even Ghana.
Even Ghana. And after they bring into those countries, we have a policy of free trade zone in West Africa.
Yeah.
They will move it into Nigeria, and there's nothing you can do about
Beating
it.
the system.
This is where the population is. So, and the moment you have to reroute your goods through another country, the price will affect the price, and that's the spirit. So the government must come in, study the situation, do a SWOT analysis of what's the problem, and remove all those bottlenecks that make people. So that's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to emphasize on is that we must liberalize our economic sector to make sure that we have incentives for people to go into business and make ease of doing business policy in Nigeria to lose all the tight ends. When these tight ends are tight, people will prefer to produce here and sell here than to. Then no country in the world, if you are not exporting and importing at an equilibrium, that you will have net development that will cross across board. Let me give you an instance of Venezuela and its crude oil. They have the largest oil reserve in the world.
Yeah.
But because of the stringent neighborhood they find themselves with the Americas and the likes, and because they have to route their oil through some of these nations, there is a lot of sanction on the Venezuela because the Americans were not able to control the government in Venezuela, and they want to control the oil in Venezuela. And as far as they are not able to control it, they did not allow the oil. Now, one of the cheapest oil you can get in the world is the Venezuelan crude. It's as good as not being useful to the Venezuelan state because they are not doing business with the outside world. So you must not have a very stringent bureaucracy or policy that will hamper the movement of your goods and services. No nation is an island on its own. So cocoa is not our traditional, the byproduct of cocoa is not our traditional. Nobody cook cocoa in Nigeria for food. So it's a produce that is grown on our land, and people who live on chocolate
demanded in high quantity
from other. So all we need is to have standard, live up to the international standard in the production of the cocoa, and then we send it out. Sometimes you sell raw material like gold. If you don't use it, and somebody who can give you value for it, why not sell it out? Then there was a time that the standard of measure is gold. And it is the reserves in our banks and central bank. So now I think this government is doing it, trying to make sure that they stabilize the currency by having gold reserves, so that our currency will also be at the value. So, and by the time we achieve a lot of feet in our gold reserve, the naira will still be very sad. Like Russia, the United States of America, Germany, and the developed world, they have both to do their the reserve in currency and gold. The United Arab Emirates, that's why you go to the Arab world, the demand for gold is very high because they want to use it to reserve their currency. So having said that, there is no nation who is not at equilibrium producing, import and exporting, that will be a force to reckon with.
Well, interesting take here by Mr. Muyideen. You have quite beautifully laid out these points. While we're talking about the manufacturing industry and, the possibility of, brokering deals with other nations. The president is away on a foreign trip. He was in Japan, where he had promised to woo in a $1 billion US foreign direct investment out of the 5.5 billion US dollars as promised to Africa by the Japanese prime minister, which is a cause that has been applauded by all and sundry in the country. And now he has moved on to Brazil, where we also have learned that Nigeria and Brazil is set to seal deals in the aviation sector, in the livestock sector, and other different sectors as well. Is this looking good? I know it's a question that I already have the answer to, but from your perspective, is this looking good?
You see, when the president said out of the 5 billion, the 1 billion should come into Nigeria, and that is an equitable ratio. Because out of each 5 African, 1 is a Nigerian.
Absolutely.
And the president has thought it well to say at least 1 billion of that amount of money should come to Nigeria. Nigeria deserves the at least 20% of the total sum, and that because we have 20% of the population in Africa. And having said that, the Brazilian journey is still the biggest one. Our aviation ops need to be given a touch and need to be given a turnaround, because we are still operating at a grade that is not suitable to the ICAO standard, International Civil Aviation. So if the president will liaise with Brazil, Brazil have a very big aviation hub, and they have the experience and the technical expertise. If we could rub minds with them and try to exchange technology, Nigerians aviation sector, and you know, we started with them, Argentina, even the China of this world, and the Japanese
in terms of aviation collaboration.
No, in terms of holistically, we are referred to as the non-aligned nation. About 10 of them, Indonesia, Singapore. We started together, but Nigeria is one of the countries that lag behind in development. We should have been at par with Brazil. This Petrobras and the NMPC, they have a very strong collaboration in terms of the oil sector management. They are very good at the OPEC level. They are the same standard. So if you look at the work environment and the design of NMPC, it's tailored towards that of Petrobras. So if we can collaborate, our military is at the same level with Brazil in terms of history and what they have achieved. So now the only place we are lagging behind is the agricultural sector.
When we talk about collaboration, when we talk about collaboration, I think it is important to narrow it down to how this can be beneficial to the country.
You see, we have a great cultural relationship with Brazil. Date back to pre-colonial era. So we've been doing trade with Brazil. They have been our friend, and the coast of South America is very dear to the heart. In fact, indigenous people of Nigeria are indigenous people in Brazil. As I'm talking to you, Yoruba people are in Brazil, that are indigenous people due to the historical background that we shared. So what I'm just trying to buttress is that Brazil is a natural friend to Nigeria. The heterogeneity of our similarity is so much. We share the same thing. Do you know that even in football, Nigeria, Argentina, Brazil have the largest export of footballer across the world. We are the third in the ranking of exporting footballer. So if you see in tradition, we share the same national sport with Brazil. So what I'm just trying to hit at is that we would learn a lot from Brazil, and there will be not this boss leadership cycle. We are age mates with Brazil. So and the deal will be mutually beneficial to both countries. That's what I'm trying, because of we are at par.
In the aviation sector, we hear that the president's visit is supposed to open up a gateway for direct flights from Nigeria to Brazil. In terms of either importation or exportation, how much of beneficial move is this? We were just talking about the manufacturing industry and how to boost it. Is this going to be a step forward in the right direction?
You see that we have about 40 airports in Nigeria. And most of these airports, some of them are cargo airports. Now, if you want to travel via air to Brazil now, maybe you first route Paris, then Paris to Sao Paulo, or Paris to Brasilia. So now, if you want to go through the North Pole, let's go to Washington, somewhere in Washington DC or Las Vegas. Then now from Las Vegas, you now link. But now, if you have a direct flight, taking off from Lagos to Rio de Janeiro or somewhere in Sao Paulo, it will be a better, shorter, and the cost effective. So, and these are then if you look at it, our travel route, Nigeria travel more to the North Pole than to our neighbor, because the South Americans are very closer to us than even to the North Pole. So if not UK, it will be Europe. Nigerians are traveling to and then we share a lot of cultural heritage with the Ecuadorians, the Colombians of this world, the Peruvians. We have so many cultural heritage that have a lot of similarity. Then there are large population of black people in the Brazilians enclaves. So this cultural heterogeneity, if we could merge it together, it will serve us a great lot, because to the West, the benefit that's been coming all over the year is just IMF loan and the likes of a slave master relationship, which should terminate if you are
talking about the IMF and the World Bank.
The West entirely, their relationship with us, they will dictate the pace.
So this is a more beneficial.
That's why I say we are at par, and Nigeria will not go begging. We will have then you know, we're coming off of BRICS.
Yeah.
Nigeria is trying to go into BRICS, and the Brazilian government and the Brazilian nation is has a very strong footing in BRICS. This, like now, Nigerian cannot trade with another country in its own currency.
Yeah.
Now the Brazilian peso, we can use it with the Nigerian naira, and make sure that we buy dollar, so that we don't need to intermediary in the course of doing our business, and it will increase the ease of doing business within us and Brazil. So I think the visit of the president will open up another gateway to the giant of South America. Nigeria is the giant of Africa.
Well, interesting. As the giant of Africa that we are, we have been leading by example on the continent, and Brazil. We are to Africa what Brazil is to the South America. Yeah. Well, with our challenges of item or situations like the continued farmer herder clashes that we continue to see in the country, the topic of ranching that has been on and off the table for a very long time, and how to ensure that while cattle grazing is contained in a certain way, we do not also take away, that cultural heritage of the
pastoral farmer
and nomadic,
farmer.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Part of this particular business agreement between Nigeria and Brazil is to generate massive livestock investment inflow.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to hold on to that.
Yeah.
And in other areas of agriculture, the Green Imperative Partnership, also known as the GIP, which kicks off immediately after the president's visit, is to generate not less than 100,000 direct jobs and more than 5 million indirect jobs.
Yeah.
Are we truly ready for this partnership in terms of livestock farming with Brazil? Meanwhile, we have our own challenges back home that we have not yet resolved.
Yeah, you see, Haidu, and they say is the devil's workshop.
Yeah.
The Niger State Governor, Muhammad Umar Bago, few days was on sister television, and he made mention, he bring about this discussion as to the visit to Brazil, about the $3 billion is to come into Nigeria. 1.5 of it go to Niger State.
Yeah.
There's a grazing reserve in Kampanimbobi in Niger State, where the Niger State government is already having a livestock farm. And if this investment should come into this farm, it will be a game changer for the Nigerian economy, not only Niger State. Then the issue of pomo that we are trying to address, we have surplus pomo and leather too, because there are thousands of cows will be on the farm. Then dairy product like milk and other, they will be on a steady supply. From there will be dairy farm
products.
Then in the cow value chain, there is no part of the cow from the dung to the last hair that is not useful. Even the bone are used for plates and ceramics. Even the horns, they have their purposes. So when they say 10,000 job, they are not far from it, and it will be like the leather issue that we discussed. When there is more cow, there will be more cow to slaughter and more leather to go into the market for production. And at the Yoruba Owambe party, there will still be pomo on the menu. So
you seem to be quite enthusiastic about this. I personally enjoy pomo a lot, especially when it's really
I used to have a Igbo friend in Aba.
Yeah.
He said these are the people that are denying, this Yoruba man that is denying us leather from making shoe. So anytime we used to banter with him all over the year. So there's a massive opportunity in the livestock sector.
Yeah.
But one thing, when you said about our own problem at home that we need to settle, I think there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. All we need is to do what we call mental mapping. There is a historical background to the movement of pastoral farmer.
Yeah.
Now, if we had over the year, during the Babangida era, there is Professor Babatunde Fafonwa policy on nomadic education.
Yeah.
He bring about this to educate the nomadics, so that they will know and be tailored, their mind will be prepared for today. Because if a man is not aware, you cannot give him what he needs to do. Like what they are doing in Niger State is that they are taking the stock of all the farmer, and they are briefing them. And the olden days, the olden way of moving cattle from one place to the other is gone. You should make sure that you are able to ranch your cow and move within a particular space, so that if you eat grass from this part this year, you allow the grass to grow at the other side and move to the other side, and then you will have a deer cow not moving from Funta do Jalo down to Lagos, moving more than 2,000 kilometers. The cow will be malnourished, they will be famished, they will suffer. Sometimes they will not even have the grass to eat due to the build-up of urban setting along their grazing road. So the modern era, if the pastoralists were educated and the government take charge, does it like the Niger State government is doing, to coordinate this farmer into a cluster and give them land, a massive land. You know, Niger State has 76% of the entire land mass of Nigeria.
76%?
No, I'm talking about 76,000 square kilometers of land. And then the entire North Central is about 250,000.
Yeah.
So if you look at that 76% that Niger State has, that's massive.
76,000 square meters.
Out of 250
square kilometers.
Yes, out of the entire 250 in the North Central. You know, that's massive. That's
absolutely massive.
That's about 30% of the entire land mass in the North Central. If they can develop some portion of it for ranching, especially those parts along the river bank, and that's, I think, where the
so the cattle can graze and
there will be water, plentiful to plant the grass throughout the year, and the cattle can graze along the river Niger. That will be a massive number of cattle across that land. So it's a shift in policy that government need to do, and it will curtail the insecurity. And if this cow are in an enclosure, in an environment, now you can use technology of tagging them. Even when they stray, you can still look for them. But when you have a cow that can move from the fringes of Niger Republic down to Lagos, so if they rustle your cow, it's because you are not keeping them in one place. So I think this is a welcome development. Then the Brazilians have that know-how. They have history of being good at it. They've supplied so many parts of the world in terms of the eggs that you're talking about, and the meat and the dairy product. So if you have an exchange program with them, and we do a lot of cultural exchange in terms of knowledge, I'm telling you, it will be a new oil. It will be a livestock boom.
A new dispensation.
Yes, because it will shoot up the revenue generation of Nigeria in no time. Because within 3 years, the benefit will start coming in. Because day in, day out, we slaughter large number of cow. You go to the market, you go to the abattoir now, you see a lot of butcher doing justice to large number of cow on a day in, day out. We have the population. Then if we have excess, the Saudi Arabian government during the Hajj, they do 3 to 4 million rams. That's a huge market, and Nigeria can carve a niche for itself in that market. They normally get their supply from maybe Indonesia, some part of Brazil too, to do, you know, is the other sacrifice. But if we carve a niche, you know, large number of Nigerians travel for this pilgrimage too, then we have a business relationship with Saudi Arabia. We will supply those markets. And during the world over, I'm telling you, during the Hajj, more than 200 million rams will normally slaughtered all over the world. It's a huge market. If we can do 10 million, at least this is a huge turnover to the Nigerian market.
Quite very optimistic hopes you have there, and hopefully with the collaboration that Nigeria and Brazil are about to go into, and with all the other FDIs the president is wooing into the country, we'll have a more streamlined agricultural sector, especially in terms of you know, animal rearing and all of that. That would also help not just Nigeria's economy, but the common man who
the moment Nigerian economy boom, the common man will have the
common man is
effect.
also help.
You see, our best comparative is agriculture. There is no part of this country that does not have a produce to sell. From Zamfara down to Bayelsa, there will be one unique
from
produce.
Lagos to Adamawa.
Everywhere you go, there one unique produce that even if you are talking about watermelon, you will see a species variance across the Nigerian. You see that green, like now, if the southwest, nobody does kola nut, but kola nut is on the table of everybody in Nigeria. That's a comparative advantage. If we carve into the market and into the value chain of kola nut, southwest will make money, and the people that enjoy kola and sell kola would also make money. So these are the way the thing. If I look at oranges and all these beverages fruit in Benue, mango and orange are plentiful. So on the Benue, no place in the world, as I'm talking to you, have more yam than North Central Nigeria. Niger State, Benue, Nasarawa, you can't beat them when it comes to yam production. And Taraba. These 4 places are very, very good at the production of yam. Nowhere in the world, I'm not talking about
the entire whole
world. You want to have species of very good variants of yam, that's where you get it. So if we can build an economic value chain around the yam production, do the finishing, the elubo market, the yam will eat on it, then the pounded yam will eat on a daily basis. Before
the yam chips,
everything. They even that is a starch, industrial starch that can be extracted from yam. So if we expand the production and make sure that a lot of youth we can go into the production and species and improve seedlings of yam are given to us, before you know, everybody will be smiling to the bank, because this is what the world need, because it's a very good staple food for the whole world. Nigeria has plenty of it.
Well, I couldn't have said it any better than Mr. Yusuf Muyideen, actually giving us a very detailed explanation as to how we can go about yam production and processing in the country. Nigeria is the largest producer of yam in the world, Mr. Muyideen's words, and we can do quite a lot of that beyond yam production. You know, our cattle rearing, whatever it is, agricultural industry is supposed to be an example for others to emulate. Well, let's leave economy and financial talks and move to politics now ahead of the 2027 general elections. A NEC meeting of the People's Democratic Party is supposed to hold today. Now, one of the top agendas for this NEC meeting is the issue of zoning within the political party. A concern that, you know, raised quite a very big problem in the last general elections. Now, mind you, over the weekend, some members of the PDP Governors Forum met in Zamfara on Saturday precisely. Now, this meeting was heavily criticized by both members of the People's Democratic Party and individuals within the ADC. It appears that PDP is in quite a lot of shambles at this moment. And with the NEC meeting today, they said they are going to address some of these problems that have been hindering their growth as a party. Do you have anything to say to the People's Democratic Party?
The People's Democratic Party, you know, they are a household name in Nigeria, but now it's in the past, and they have been struggling quite lately. You know, there was a time they shoot themselves in the leg by working out on their sitting president in a convention, and they balkanized the party. After that time, the PDP has not gotten it right up to date. So the governors, they should, if they want to take any step, they should look down the memory lane. You know, if you don't have a history of an ailment, you may not know how to treat it. That's why you normally have your medical doctor, so that you can observe your medical history, so that anytime. So they must go for their medical doctor to diagnose the real cause of PDP's problem. If you don't do that political diagnosis and you still want to solve the problem, we have the Wiki Wing breathing storm of fire that the right thing must be done. And Wiki, by and large, or to an extent, is a stakeholder in the PDP. And over the year, he has shown that he's not a man to push around when you come to decision making as to how PDP will grow. So if they ignore some of their members and they went ahead and do a caricature NEC meeting and brought out a decision that is not all-encompassing, that does not bring everybody on board, it will still go back to the same brouhaha of having a crack in the house. So PDP must do a proper history of what the problem is and to bring everybody on board and accommodate, because politics is all about interest. That's why we have a geopolitical zone. We have the local government. So everybody coming from those units They are
will
coming
be
with
well
an interest.
represented.
Yeah, so
represented.
So they should be well represented, and an interest, if it's factored into the new, then the sky will be their limit. But if they still want to ride on a high horse, whereby some people want to dictate the flow of direction, with and not looking at what other people have contributed over the years, they will still have problem. That's the problem they have in the last general election. Peter Obi in 2019 was with them. Atiku Abubakar was with them, and so many other people like Wiki, they are together. And when they see that they are trying to sideline some other people, and these people find out that despite the contribution they have made, so now there's a case of Tabali Tabaoba Kabulese is a Yoruba saying that if I cannot get what I want, let me scatter the OT. That's the what happened in the last 2023 general election. So and the PDP paid dearly for it. Instead of them bringing the card in 2019 to the table of Peter Obi and Atiku, which will have given them a very strong fight for the ticket of 2023, they split themselves, and today Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's God has prevailed on them.
Now, one of the major bone of contention in the 2023 general election was the zoning method within the PDP, which individuals like the FCT minister, Yusuf Muyideen, insisted then and still insist now that the zoning should have gone to the south, but it was twisted and zoned to the north.
So during the primaries that produced Atiku the Atiku was clever by half, because Muhammadu Buhari is from the north.
Yeah,
a Fulani man like
much like Atiku
is about to round up his 8 years tenure, and we have on the Nigerian state. I'm from the north. I'm from Kwara State, so we have a heterogeneous Fulani and Yoruba mixed up. So me, I belong to the two side by my heritage. So if I want to make an analysis, I will be fair. So if the power is moving from the north, I think from a Fulani man, it should not move to another Fulani man simultaneously, because we have an unwritten arrangement that we should do
a gentleman's agreement
that we should do 8 years within the south so that we can maintain the peace. Over the years, if we get used to that, we'll now start going for merit, and then it will come naturally without anybody
having to
just like
anything.
When Goodluck came in, it was a child of necessity, and Goodluck became president.
I mean, if you look at the trajectory since 1999, be it the south or southwest
or whichever zone,
or whatever zone, as long as it has always been the south versus the north. In 1999, during the Obasanjo regime, it was the south
that contested.
It was the south.
All the front runners. I think it was the Olufalaye and Obasanjo that are the two front runners.
Exactly.
Having come from the Abiola's Dibaku, they okay, let's cede it to the Yoruba people, and Obasanjo was on the ticket, and it went to the south.
And then after the Obasanjo regime, you had the northwest.
The northwest,
talking
about
Yaradua. And if he had been alive, perhaps he would have probably gone 8 whole years. We are not sure about that.
If he had been alive and is healthy and with the 7-point agenda,
there might have been a case of him losing the election, just like
he has what I'm saying, that was a stride by the best president we have ever had, aside Asiwaju Nana, that is doing a yeoman job, was Yaradua. Exactly. He was a focused man, 7-point agenda, clearly cut out. One thing dear to my heart is the dredging of River Niger, because I'm from North Central. It will open up the River Niger, and the port will be. I'm a geographer who has flair for the nautical miles.
But back to the conversation. So we had the southwest, we had the northwest, we had the south, and then back to the northwest again. The same man from Katsina, much like Yaradua, and then from the northwest, we now went back to the southwest again. So it has been an alternation between the north and the south,
regardless of
unwritten, but
regardless of the coordinates.
Exactly. So I think that is where the People's Democratic Party might have gotten it wrong in the 2023 general elections.
I was trying to have a breather.
Hey, okay.
Peter Obi was in the PDP till the last minute when he saw that the body language of the PDP is not tailored towards him, and he is even being very clever with money again. He look at it will be money bag driven. So he now have to sway back to Labour Party. He made consultation within the PDP, and they told him that the power brokers who told him that the power, they want to retain the power in the north.
Yes.
So Atiku picking that ticket is one of his greatest political undoing, because he did not believe in the Nigerian stability of Nigeria by taking that 2023 ticket. If he hadn't taken that ticket, he would have been a national figure. But for you to want to succeed a northern person outrightly, it has shown that
it was a wrong
political
move.
The cohesion and the unity of Nigeria does not matter to you in as much as you will get your own political ticket. Then he now said that if it is ceded to the southeast, he will have conceded. Why you have pushed Peter Obi out of the picture?
The picture.
So now, Wike fought for it, and it deserves to fight for it, because outrightly, if Muhammadu Buhari is going, the power is coming to the south, and any southerner has the wherewith to aspire to be the Nigerian president. Wike fought nitty-gritty. He was stabbed in the back. If we do
this is your own assertion to this.
No, you see, when somebody is pulling, you saw it, you are winning, and some alliance came in
and pushed you out.
Push you out. It's a stab in the back. Then, haven't done that, Atiku should have a gentleman way of bringing Wike in. He stands on the high horse. Then Wike stood its ground. I'm from the south. I have a command here. And if you said you look down on me, you can't look down on people and you expect them to look up to you. And that's what happened within Wike and Atiku. So that history is still there, affecting the PDP until date. Then Atiku is a kind of a pastoral politician. As it is now, he has left the PDP. He's always going forth and coming back into the PDP.
He has left the PDP.
He has now, as it is now, he has left. ADC. So he was not always there, but Wike was there through thick and thin. Since the balkanizing of PDP at the convention, 7 governors working out of good luck, up till now, the PDP has not gotten it right. So they must go back and know where, both physically, spiritually, and yes, it's possible.
There was a disconnect.
When a child suddenly walk out of his father, and you said you want to go to the world and make it, and the father will just be laughing at you. So you must obey your father.
There are consequences to such.
There are spiritual attachment to some of the decisions we make. That's why you see today, APC is a political party of discipline. When Muhammadu Buhari says A, all members, by and large, by 70%, they comply. And they have learned a lesson from the PDP that you don't, if you want your days to be long, you will not be arrogant to your fathers.
Well, if you want your days to be long, you must not be arrogant to your fathers, or in this case, your party's political leader. Yeah. Well, it's been a wonderful conversation with you here, Mr. Yusuf.
It's always Muyideen. Nice.
Thank you so much. You have laid out quite strong, pertinent points. Hopefully, we'll have you again within the week or next week.
It's always nice to be here, and the Advocate TV advocates, then they make sense.
Certainly, they make sense. Yeah. Well, this is as much as we can take here on this